Hey guys, Nathan Lau here to give you my unofficial mid-season nominations for this year's WNBA Fan Awards. And for those of you who don't know, the Fan Awards are a thing where it's nothing official. There's no trophy. I'm in no way connected with the Associated Press or anything. It's just my own personal opinions on who deserves to win a specific award. So first we'll start with the MVP category. The first name on here is Donne. And yes, she's injured right now, but honestly that doesn't do anything to deter me from picking her, because look at their record with her in the lineup and look at the record without her in the lineup. At the start of the season, they were the top team in the East, one of the best in the league. But then she started feeling ill, she went back home to deal with her Lyme disease, and now the Shock are last in the East. So I think her illness actually makes me want to vote for her more, because now we have undeniable proof that she is the leader on the team. Then you've got Parker and Diggins, and the main reason that they're not at the top of my list right now is just because their teams aren't winning. But both of them are playing amazing well right now. They're easily leaders on their roster, and they're fighting. That's the most important part. And the Sparks, I'm not worried about them. They had a disappointing start to the season, but they're in the playoffs right now, and I feel like they can make a late surge. And then you've got Taurasi and more. The Lynx have been slightly banged up, but it's barely noticeable. Honestly, they're still one of the top teams in the league. The only reason they're not number one is simply because, well, the Mercury are playing at such a high level. I mean, those are the only names on the list right now, but the season's still got plenty of time to go. I mean, there are still others like Tina Charles, Angel McCoughtry, Tamika Catchings, who could easily make it onto this list. I mean, McCoughtry, the main reason she wasn't on this list is because, especially early on in the season, DeSouza and Little, they're getting double-doubles on a regular basis, and I feel like, even McCoughtry is easily the best player and the leader on the team, but one of the main reasons for their continued success has been the fact that the people around her are playing so much better. And you got Defensive Player of the Year. First one on the list is Griner. She's second year in a row leading the league in blocks. She had a league high 11 in one game. So that's something to put into consideration. But also I've got Larkins, Parker, Breland. These are people that, even if they're not leading in the statistical category, they're showing great effort on that side of the ball. And now that Catchings and Fouls are back, two players that between them have 7 Defensive Player of the Year awards, they're probably going to find their way into the mix. Then you've got Rookie of the Year, which is not quite as wide open as it was to start the season. You've got Schimmel and Howard, who both of them, they started the year so well with 2 great games, and since then they've been pedestrian at best. Still upset that she's an all-star. That's the problem I have with fan voting. A lot of it's name recognition and not necessarily how much they deserve it. Now, then you got Chiney, obviously first overall pick. Chiney, especially as the season goes on, she's regularly getting double-doubles, and that's another reason. That's why Dantas is also in the mix, because she's playing for the Lynx, and in their system, she's gotten quite a few double-doubles herself. And she's filling in for the injured Rebecca Brunson, and they're not losing too much production, at least not numbers-wise. She probably hasn't made her presence felt as strongly as Rebecca, but she is having an impact. And you've also got Hartley and Faulkner, who they haven't done it on a regular basis like Chiney, so she's still the favorite, but they've had enough flashes of brilliance that I'll give them nom. And then you've got Most Improved. 2 of them that jump out immediately, Courtney Paris and Jessica Breland, because last season I had no idea who these people are, and now this season they're coming in, they're getting double-doubles. Breland, one of the leaders in blocks for the Sky. I mean, she did an amazing job to start the season. Now with Fouls back, it seems like the entire offense and the entire defense completely revolves around her, which I'm not necessarily saying it's a mistake, but it's not working. Maybe tweak the formula a little, because Prince has had games where she can score 30, because Prince has had games where she can score 30, and we know fouls can get double-doubles, but that's never happened in the same game, which might be why they're losing. I don't know. Maybe Pokey should head down to Phoenix and ask Delle how she's handling it with Griner and Taurasi, because they seem to be working well together. I don't know. Anyway, so we've got Breland and Paris who went from nobodies to every game starters. And then you got Jantel Lavender from the Sparks. If I remember correctly, she was there last year. She started some games, and she's a very good player. And she made an impact last season. And now this year, she's gotten to a point where they're starting her every game, at least for right now. And I think she fits very well. And there are games where she'll lead them in points. She's had double-doubles. She's becoming part of the Sparks' big three, because between her, Nneka, and Candace, the three of them are usually combining for 50 points a game. And then you got the big names Griner and Diggins. And Griner, a lot of people started comparing this draft to the NBA draft where they got Odin and Durant, and you saw what happened with both of their careers. And it looked kind of like that in season 1 with Griner and Donne. Thankfully, though, Griner, she came right back, and after struggling through a few injuries last year, this year she's looking much better. She's a consistent presence on the floor, and offensively and defensively, you can feel the impact that she's having. But Skylar Diggins is really impressive. I mean, there were times where every now and then she would show flashes of brilliance, but most of the time she would have more turnovers than assists, and she didn't score that well on a regular basis. Last season, to me, she honestly looked like a bust. And now she's turned right around and she looks like a great leader for this team. She's had some 30-point games. She's gotten double-doubles. She's turned into a strong leader on a team that already had an established veteran presence. And if they were winning just a little bit more, she would probably be my favorite for MVP. That's all I've got right now. I mean, 6th Woman of the Year for Quigly is my favorite right now. But there are others who I'm considering adding. It's just that there aren't a lot of consistent bench presences in the league right now, at least not from what I can tell. I mean, if you think there's anyone that I didn't mention who definitely deserves to be on there, leave a comment or whatever. I want to hear an actual formulated argument. I want numbers to back that up. There's plenty of time left in the season. A lot of things can happen.